Hello, gamers. It's the Trevor Turtle, and today we're trying something a little brand new. Let's get right into the news.
Why?
Apex Legends has announced that they will be doing new measures for cheaters who are caught cheating. It's like hacking, aimbot, and stuff. Apparently what they're going to be doing is matchmaking those cheaters with other cheaters. So, you're caught aimbotting? Well, I guess they're not gonna ban you from the game, they're just gonna put you with other aimbotters. I guess the idea is that if you are banned, you're just gonna make like a new account or whatever, or just come in on a different name, or if you're not caught. But they're using like their AI, and if you're detected as being a potential hacker, you're gonna play with potential or real hackers. So hopefully you don't have amazingly good aim and then it thinks you have aimbot or something. Which usually you can actually tell like when someone's actually got those hacks on, because what they'll do is they'll start to aim at like not real objects or try and shoot through objects when in fact there is like a rock in front of them. One of my favorite games, Overwatch. It has a new update coming out, but first they're talking about hero number 31. Now, we didn't really know a whole lot about this hero 31 before, the 31st hero in Overwatch. But there was a new teaser with Jeff Kaplan. It was supposed to be their like developer update thing that he always talks about, but instead it like cuts out as soon as he's like talking, and you see music, well, you hear music playing, a whole bunch of numbers and letters pop up on the screen like math, and he has announced in the past that they're going to be male, and so obviously it has something to do with numbers and logic and everything, but some screen grabs were released showing that the new hero could be named Sigma. Now, some people are saying this could be a potential joke because it's really close to Ligma, that whole joke. But others are saying that it could potentially be the hero, although nobody has ever heard of any Sigma. There's no reference to them or anything. It's just this one character who looks older and everything. So Jeff Kaplan, I guess, was streaming with Siegel, and Siegel asked Mr. Jeff Kaplan, who is Sigma? And then Jeff Kaplan just responded, good question, and then just kept reading. So it could either be a potential thing of he knows who it is and he's obviously trying not to say it because he wants it to be released normally and everything, or it's a whole thing of, I don't know. Also, does anyone else realize that when they watch these videos with Jeff Kaplan, he just does not look like he wants to be there? Also, one of the things that I think is more important to talk about with Overwatch is the new role queue that they're adding. Basically, before every match that you play, you're going to select which role you want to do. So if you want to be DPS, you'll select DPS, healer will select healer, tank will select tank. And how it's going to work is it's going to matchmake you with the 2-2-2 game setup, so 2 healers, 2 tanks, 2 DPS. Problem with this is that basically eliminates any strategy like GOATs where you have 3 tanks and 3 healers, and any sort of flexibility in that. And before we had the current system where it was you can look for a group and change and be flex or DPS or whatever. Now you have to choose that role and then stick with it, I guess. And Jeff Kaplan's reasoning for this is he says that he didn't think that people had enough time in game to choose who they wanted to be. Now, I think that the real reason for it is to eliminate the thing of getting into a game and having 4 people lock DPS and then everybody just throws. Because that's something that still happens a ton. Like, I got stuck in Diamond for a long time now, and I can't get out because that's literally what happens. Everybody goes DPS. With this, I guess DPS players are probably going to experience a longer wait time than healers and tanks. Healers will probably experience the lowest, tanks will probably get like second highest or whatever, just based on the amount of people who usually play those roles. He also says that there are rewards for playing roles that are at a higher demand, so if everybody's playing DPS and you play healer, and it's in higher demand, then apparently you get more rewards for that. Whatever that is, like a loot box, XP, who knows. And this is going to be launched at the beginning of season 18, or next season, on September 1st. So got quite a bit of a ways for it. But it could be really game-changing because I still have a lot of questions about how it works, because if you go into the game and then you choose your roles based off of what was before, and you have free selection over tanks and healers and everything. That still kind of ruins it, because someone can go in there saying they're going to be healer and then just go DPS, which kind of actually makes the situation worse. Now, if it's locked to just, if you choose DPS, you have to play DPS, well then you're not able to play tanks and stuff, and you're not able to flex, which is a really good part of the game and important. So hopefully we get some more answers to that and everything gets cleared up. Next in the news, we have Google Stadia. I know, you're sitting there thinking, what is it? I had the same question. I couldn't really find a whole lot, but what it looks like is a new program being developed by Google to, it's basically like Xbox Live games with gold or whatever. It's a whole thing where you play games on the cloud, and it brought up, I read a whole bunch of like problems with this sort of thing. A lot of programs will allow you to download the game locally as well as play it on the cloud and everything, and this is just on the cloud apparently. But it looks like it has a few issues, and people were asking, well, is this basically Netflix with video games? And they were basically described Xbox Live like games with gold, where you have the membership and you get like a free game. Their first game's apparently Destiny 2. Basically, it has friends lists, you get a free game a month, you can do parties and stuff. It's basically like Xbox. Fortnite sends a kid to the hospital. I know, you're thinking what I'm thinking, like, how? Basically what it is a kid was playing Fortnite and he wouldn't put down the controller to go and use the bathroom, and he ended up getting constipated. I wish I was making this story up. Apparently what was happening is he just wanted to get like a victory royale, and he just kept playing and playing and playing, and he was getting constipation and had to be taken to the hospital because of it. The article talks about how the World Health Organization has recognized gaming as a gaming disorder, I guess you could say. Basically, this is kind of what it is. It's common to like 8 to 11-year-olds or something like that. Just younger kids who are really trying to just play games, and then they don't want to do anything else. They just play it and they just sit there like 24/7. So Fortnite basically responded by, we have parental controls and everything, so you can limit the amount of time that your kids are playing. If they're younger, they should be playing less. If they're older, they can play more or whatever. That basic thing. The parents were saying, well, my child, I don't know if it was a girl or boy, my child is not going to be playing Fortnite anytime soon, which is basically okay. I mean, it kind of, if your kid has been sitting there for a very, very long, extended period of time and you have not seen them leave to go to the bathroom or something, you should probably just pull the plug at that point. Like, if you're letting them get away with not using the bathroom, I mean, you'd have to be there for a very long amount of time to have to go to the hospital for not getting up to use the bathroom. Like, this kid must not be, like, getting up to eat, like, lunch or whatever. Like, you should have realized this. Not the parents' fault, but again, not the kids. It kind of is the kid's fault. Not Fortnite's fault, not the parents' fault. It's kind of just the kid being a kid wanting to play games and stuff. But you need to look out for that. Next in the news, old documents of The Sims have been released. Basically stuff from like 1998 or whatever, 20 years ago when the game like first came out and everything. It talked a little bit about how they came up with the language. Interestingly enough, the Sims language is actually made up of a whole bunch of different languages, including Navajo, Ukrainian, and Estonian. And this article on Vice basically talks about it and tries to reveal that there was this big controversy of same-sex relationships. Basically, they fired a gay programmer for including LGBTQ Easter egg, like one Easter egg in the game, and they were pretty upset about it and everything and fired this programmer. They basically said that they're going to be doing better and everything. But yeah, that's the controversy. That's it. Sims, I guess, did an oopsie, apparently. Next news. Comic-Con, Avengers Endgame. Comic-Con Avengers game. At Comic-Con, they announced that there's going to be an Avengers game. So basically what's covered in this little trailer that they released, which is basically the prologue of the entire game, there's this guy, what's his name? I believe that they're fighting someone called like the Taskmaster. Captain America sends everybody to go and fight him. Apparently Captain America gets left behind, decides to stay behind. So they're going to fight him and everything. They realize, get distracted. Captain America dies, everything goes wrong, everybody hates the Avengers, and it goes like a time jump of like 5 years later. And throughout this entire thing, well, basically you get to play these heroes and everything. I don't know much about the story from there. But throughout this little prologue, you have voiceovers, and you see the origins of none other than Miss Marvel revealed. Like they get into like this blue liquid or something. I don't know. I don't know the origins of Miss Marvel. I didn't read that many superhero comics, okay? But basically the game, they talked about how it features a whole bunch of customizations, so you can have different sort of heroes. You can customize your Iron Man to do different colors than the typical Iron Man. You can have a Viking Thor, whatever you want to do. But this is basically coming out May 15th in 2020, so you got a long way to go. PUBG is getting a story mode. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like there's been a huge thing where a lot of games have been ditching the story mode for a more multiplayer experience. Like Overwatch has no story mode, it's just like lore and stuff that they release over time. It's instead just multiplayer. Titanfall 2 actually went the opposite and started including story and then had multiplayer on top of that when the original one didn't. But yeah, you're seeing a lot of games that are just multiplayer. Rainbow Six Siege is just multiplayer. It has like a little mode or whatever, but it doesn't have like a story mode where you play through like a typical Call of Duty style story and have multiplayer. But basically, PUBG is the little video that they showed is, it's a rich guy hosting like a tournament. It's basically the Hunger Games. That's pretty much it. It's the Hunger Games, guys. I mean, who would have guessed? But yeah, that's basically it. It's getting a story mode. That's the trailer that they showed at like Comic-Con or wherever they showed it. I believe it was at Comic-Con. Don't really know much other details than that. But on to the next news. Fallout 76 has released a new patch. Fallout 76, who cares? So Fallout 76, they released it, it was awful. It had a lot of issues and everything. Some people will try and defend it and everything, but it had a lot of issues, okay? It was this game that had like a good concept and idea, but the developers just couldn't reach it. They couldn't grab what they were trying to go for. Basically, they released a new patch update that was aimed at fixing other issues, and they caused a lot more issues. Like, how do you mess this up that badly? So basically, this patch update has caused it so that high-level loot and power armor have disappeared. So if you were wearing power armor before, you no longer have it. I believe you keep the higher level loot, but nothing drops high level loot anymore, and you can't find power armor. Which, how do you let that happen? Players are basically saying like, hey, what's up? Why don't we have like a test server or something so you can test these patches before they actually go live? Which is a good point, because normally you have like a test server, like Overwatch has their PTR and everything. You test the stuff that you're implementing into the game before you put it in the game. I don't feel like I have to justify the reasoning behind that because it makes perfect sense. You test it and then you put it in. If you don't think it should go that way, we've got a problem. But Bethesda, they had a live stream that was going to happen right after this patch update happened, and they've canceled it. Haven't heard much about any of this from them, but Bethesda, from me, please get a test server. It's the only thing that makes sense. I think then again, if you think about it, are they really responsible for very many multiplayer games? Because normally they're just like Skyrim and stuff, aren't they? Oh, they have Elder Scrolls Online. I forgot about that one. Another game that nobody really plays. Yikes. Just stick to single player games, please, Bethesda. It's not your fault. It's just nobody likes your games that are multiplayer. Next up, we have the long-awaited Netflix series, The Witcher. So this series, they like the trailer and everything. I couldn't find a release date for it yet, but it looked pretty interesting and everything. It's based on the books. That's right, there are books of The Witcher, and not the games. The games, I believe, come after the books take place. So, who knows? One of the things that I read about it is that someone in there said that Game of Thrones basically paved the way for it. Like, I'm guessing they mean in terms of like having a story set up like this, maybe with dragons and stuff. Maybe that's what they're going for. I don't believe that like Game of Thrones set it up so that The Witcher could be a success. Like, I'm guessing that the large majority of people watching The Witcher on Netflix are going to be people who played The Witcher video game. And there's going to be others that watch it thinking like, oh, that looks neat. Or maybe they're like, oh, Game of Thrones, I like that. Maybe I'll like this. But like, I don't think, if The Witcher is successful, I don't think it's going to be because of Game of Thrones. But yeah, that's that. The one thing that I do have to say about this though is they have extreme bad luck with video games making it into TV shows and movies. And the reason for that is because when you play a video game, you're the person in control of the story and what's happening and everything. It's more interactive. Whereas with a television show or a movie, you're not really a part of it. Like, I guess you could think that you're a part of it because you're like watching it, but there's no direct involvement in it. Like, you see, they have like this big thing where it's like a curse to make movies and TV shows based off video games, like Tomb Raider, like all that kind of stuff. It usually bombs. It does not go well. And for our last piece in the news today, Rainbow Six Siege is almost on its 4th anniversary. Happy birthday! Ubisoft says that because of Siege and Assassin's Creed, they're financially okay. This is basically it. Like, I don't know. They're making money because of Siege, and I find it weird that a game that's been out for 4 years is still able to make them a good amount of income. I guess it does make sense because some games are like really popular. How long has Overwatch been out? I think it's about the same amount of time, isn't it? It's 2016. Overwatch is like 3 years old. And then Siege came out in 2015, so yeah, it'd be about 4 years old. So yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense for a game to do this well. I mean, I was doing keyword research earlier today where I looked at like different keywords and how many, like the search volume, how many people look up Rainbow Six Siege versus a game like Overwatch. And I found that Overwatch, the search volume for it is 2.74 million views per month. Like 2.74 million searches per month, whereas Siege is only 194,000. So I do find it a little strange that they're saying that they've gotten a whole lot of financial success out of it. But then again, I guess that doesn't mean that I guess that means that Overwatch people are just more active online and looking at these updates and stuff. But Ubisoft says that Season 3 should be released here soon. It's basically these different seasons where they give you stuff. It's just a reason for players to come back, guys. It's just so they can make more money for you. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it for the news. Let me know if you want more. Let me know if I missed anything. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Smash the like button. Subscribe. Do it now. Goodbye. Check out my other videos, please.